Hello and welcome to Reality Check. 1 year ago, India was placed under a nationwide lockdown. The world's strictest coronavirus lockdown was imposed on India to halt the virus's spread and ostensibly to ramp up testing and tracing facilities, to buy time to beef up medical infrastructure and capabilities. Yet, here we are, a year later, with our hospitals completely overwhelmed, with a shortage of everything from hospital beds to antiviral drugs to life-saving oxygen. There are gut-wrenching tales coming in from all across India. Grief and loss amplified by a lack of dignity in death.
As the pandemic sweeps through the country, anger, grief and tempers running high. In Bareilly, the manager of a private hospital tied to a pole and beaten by angry relatives after bodies of two patients who died due to COVID were exchanged and given to different families for last rites. In the case of Rakesh, the family discovered they were cremating the wrong person when they uncovered his face on the funeral pyre. His body has been exchanged with another COVID patient, Mahesh Gupta.
उसके बाद भी 36,600 रुपए का और बिल मांग रहे हैं किसी की बॉडी दे दी दूसरी बॉडी नहीं मिल पाई है.
From the Saraswati Medical College in Unnao, a video that has now gone viral showing the lack of facilities.
ये देखिए मैं यहाँ सरस्वती उन्नाव मेडिकल कॉलेज में हूँ. यहाँ पे कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है. ये रात का टाइम हो रहा है लगभग. ये देखिए ये सब पेशेंट ऑक्सीजन पे हैं. ये सारे पेशेंट ऑक्सीजन पे इमरजेंसी में है और यहाँ पे कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है. कोई एक स्टाफ नहीं है.
And from the same hospital, bodies of COVID patients hastily loaded into transport vehicles wrapped in polythene.
कुछ भी नहीं है वहाँ पे, सिर्फ लापरवाही है. अच्छा मरीज हमारा आया और रात में हमको दो घंटे बाद फोन किया कि आपका मरीज एक्सपायर हो गया और बल्कि उसको ना ऑक्सीजन दिया. वो गिड़गिड़ाता रहा, कहता रहा मुझे ऑक्सीजन दो. ना ऑक्सीजन दिया ना कुछ दिया.
Another shocking video, this time from Rohilkhand Medical College. With no beds available, the hospital has allegedly shut its doors to keep patients out.
रात के 2 बज चुके हैं. अस्पताल पूरा बंद करेगा मेन गेट. कोई पेशेंट को ले नहीं रहे हैं. अगर कुछ भी होता तो जिम्मेदारी इनकी होगी. ये देख लीजिए, यहाँ पे भीड़ भाड़ भी बहुत लोग भी सब हैं. उनके पेशेंट के टेंडर भी हैं, उनके साथ वाले भी हैं और पेशेंट को देख लीजिए. पेशेंट की भी हालत बहुत है. ये मरीज के परिजन जो रो रहे हैं उनका पेशेंट भर्ती नहीं हो रहा है. 3 घंटे हो गए हैं. अगर इनका कुछ भी होती है तो जिम्मेदारी किसकी होगी?
इंसान को सुख दुख लगा रहता है और कुछ लोग हमेशा दुखी रहते ही हैं, लेकिन ये पहला मौका है जब समाज में हर कोई दुखी है. एक तकलीफ का समंदर है, लगता है आपके चारों तरफ बहता जाता है. हर तरफ मौत है, दर्द है, तकलीफें हैं.
And while this is the situation on the ground, what are our politicians doing? Playing games with our lives. The claim of free COVID-19 vaccination has now become the latest flashpoint between the Trinamool Congress and the BJP as West Bengal prepares for 2 more rounds of voting in the assembly election. The Bengal BJP on Friday tweeted, as soon as the BJP government comes to power in West Bengal, COVID-19 vaccines will be provided free of cost to everyone. And this comes a day after the Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress made the same promise in a tweet and saying that universal vaccination for everyone above the age of 18 post the 5th of May.
5ই মের পরে ইলেকশনের রেজাল্ট বেরিয়ে যাওয়ার পর আমরা ইউনিভার্সাল ভ্যাকসিন দেব. 18 বছর থেকে যে চাইবে সেই পাবে. সম্পূর্ণ বিনা পয়সায় সরকার থেকে আমরা ভ্যাকসিনটা কিনে দেব.
All right, joining us now for more on this, Derek O'Brien, leader of the Trinamool's parliamentary party in the Rajya Sabha. So, Mr. O'Brien, first a sense of deja vu for the TMC. Clearly, the TMC been quick to point out that the BJP played the same card as it did in Bihar a year ago.
You see, Ms. Jacob, we've been saying for the last 2 months, from the time the Election Commission announced these dates, that politics is the second priority. The first is taking care of lives. I don't want to discuss any politics today. I mean, I'll answer your questions, but since you've been kind enough to give me the platform, may I send out at least one public service message to the people of Bengal and not waste this precious time on television. This has already gone out on all as much as we can. We have a single direct number which we've had for the last 1 year. So the more people, but this is only for use in Bengal. May I, with your permission, just put this number out because there are 150 callers receiving these calls. So it's 1-800-313-444-222. I'll repeat that, 1-800-313-444.
What's the number for, Mr. O'Brien?
This is for anyone in Bengal. This takes care of the ambulances, telemedicine, psychological hearing, everything, and in the sad times even for cremation. So we've been putting this number out as public.
Our producer will take it off your tweets and we'll play it in our show.
I really appreciate that, because this kind of muck, I'm not here to tell you about what happened in March 2020. Why did the BJP mess it up?
You tweeted it earlier, Mr. O'Brien.
Sorry?
The BJP has put out a tweet saying that if they win in Bengal, they are promising free vaccines to everyone. Your response, sir?
What is there to respond? We've been seeing for the last 2 months. We've been seeing for the last 2 months what has been happening. You're talking about the BJP, and I'll also ramp it up one step further. The day the elections got announced in Bengal, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee did a press conference saying you don't need 8 phases for 2 reasons. One is this is not 2016, where the insurgent numbers were killing numbers were much higher from 2011-16. We have 0 Maoist deaths here in Bengal, and there's a pandemic, but you still want 8 phases. We've written over 100 letters delivered to the Election Commission saying reduce the time. There's a couple of points, if you allow me to make, on the vaccination part of it. The vaccination and the supply of vaccines was always through the central government. This got changed literally a few days ago.
Yes.
I remember in April last year, my chief minister asked me to speak to Serum Institute, and I had a wonderful half-an-hour conversation with Mr. Poonawalla. And he was very gracious, but he made it very, very clear as early as April in 2020 that yes, we can talk, we can discuss, but when it comes to supply of vaccination, it's controlled by the central government. When it comes to taking care of COVID, the 4-hour, 21-day lockdown with 4 hours notice, all this was done by the central government. The state government, only when the central government realized that the state government is the implementing authority, that's when, then they change. And I think what people who are watching your program need to know is, what did the Prime Minister of India tell Davos in February 2 months ago, patting himself on the back and saying India is leading the world, but I don't want to go into this politics now. Doesn't matter. Modi and Shah have messed this up beyond. People are angry. Politicians
But Mr. O'Brien, now that the government has announced that states, this is what you're referring to, that states have to buy the vaccine directly from the manufacturers, how is Mamata Banerjee going to keep her promise? She tweeted the day before the BJP did, saying free vaccinations for all. So we have to ask you, does Bengal have the wherewithal to incur the huge cost of buying doses at prices determined by the market forces, or is this also an empty promise like the BJP? The BJP's promise is one step worse, saying that if they win, they'll get it.
If they win, like if they won Bihar, they said they'll get you. This is like saying you vote for us. If you vote for us, we'll give you a vaccination. No, you asked me about funding this, so I must respond to your question on funding this. That's important. The BJP owe Bengal 85,000 crores of what is owed to us. All the BJP need to do after May the 2nd is to pay our bills. I'm not getting into the details of it, but there's a full breakup of 85,000 crores owed to the government of Bengal. But the kind of federalism which the BJP was practicing, you look at how much oxygen Gujarat got. We have nothing against the
Fair
people
enough,
of
Mr. O'Brien, but then how will Bengal fulfill the promise made by the Chief Minister? I'm out of time, sir.
Bengal will fund it, like Telangana announced it today, like Jharkhand announced it.
All states have announced it. All right,
Okay.
Derek O'Brien, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. All I can say to our viewers is strap on your seatbelts, India. We're in for a bumpy ride. What we can expect is a political blame game to move into 5th gear. You'll see the centre blaming the states for low vaccines. The states will be blaming the centre for abdicating its responsibility. And the average Indian citizen will continue to suffer and die of this ghastly virus. So the big question tonight, we expect political parties, we only expect them to be led by political motives, but should it be, can it be politics as usual in the middle of a pandemic? We have Jasmine Shah, spokesperson of the AAP, joining us. We have Pawan Khera, spokesperson of the Congress, Satya Prakash Mishra, spokesperson of the JDU, and PKD Nambiar, a political analyst who supports the BJP, joining us. Mr. Satya Prakash Mishra, to you first. The TMC has been quick to point out, Mr. Derek O'Brien eventually getting to it, that in Bihar also we saw the same thing. We saw this at the start of the elections where the BJP, it was the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman who announced that if they win in Bengal, and this was your ally, then they will provide free vaccines to all. Where is that promise, sir, on the ground right now in Bihar?
You know, Shara Jacobji, I assure you of one thing, that the vaccination drive in Bihar is completely free as per the promise prior to the, this pandemic and the, invention of this vaccine. That point of time, the vaccine was not there even. And the Nirmala Sitharaman and the NDA ally of every party felt that we should provide free vaccination in the state, and it is going on, and the drive is high there. The second thing, every citizen of India, we are in favor of that get vaccine free of cost. We are not in favor of that anybody should pay for the vaccine drive. But if somebody can afford that, they are free to buy vaccine in the market and they can get vaccinated. At the same point of time, what you are pointing out...
But Mr. Mishra, it has been a year since that promise was made.
The promise
this week again we heard the Chief Minister making that same promise. Vaccinations will be free for all. The death toll is rising on the ground.
If it is reassuring by a Chief Minister, reassurance of the Chief Minister that from May onwards, 18 year, that there was a policy of age, okay, that is being removed.
Mishra, as of now, Bihar has only vaccinated 63 lakh people. This is government data, right?
Yeah,
compare this to Rajasthan, for example. Of course, Bihar, the most populated, same size Rajasthan, 1.19 crore people. Again, government data.
The drive is there. Unfortunately, the second wave is also there. So,
but a promise was made in an election by your ally, your alliance partner, saying if they win that election, not if you win the Bengal election, if you win the Bihar election, everybody will be vaccinated.
No, it was the promise definitely it was a promise, and we are maintaining that promise. And what is wrong in that if the people are getting vaccinated free of cost? What's wrong in that? It is a good cause of politics. The Indian other political party at the same point of time is promising the same thing. What is wrong in that?
Mr. Mishra, one last quick question. When the government has come under criticism, the Prime Minister, the Home Minister have come under criticism for holding huge rallies in Bengal, the BJP, the Home Minister have blithely declared that rallies don't lead to an increase in COVID-19 cases, and they pointed to Bihar. Today you have so many deaths coming out of the state. What would you say in response?
Even still there is a high recovery, it is high recovery rate in Bihar, and it is very low rate of, COVID in Bihar, first of all, and we are thankful to that. The second thing what you pointed out under Article 3... No, either you let me speak, Sara, that I understand. Everybody, unfortunately,
let me please move over. Let's move across to our other guests. Mr. Nambiar, we're having 3 lakh cases for the third straight row in India, over 2,000 deaths. Crematoriums even are full. There's no space even in crematoriums. We're completely overwhelmed. Yet we're seeing so much politics coming in from the BJP first.
Sarah, there is no doubt that it's a pathetic situation, especially the city where we are all living in, that is in Delhi. It's a very, very bad situation on the ground. We all get so many calls, distress calls. But having said that, the vaccination, the health is a state subject, and every state can take their own policy of vaccinating their population free of cost, and I don't think anything is wrong with it. And even if political parties are announcing it, if it can be a policy matter, and it is I don't think anything wrong in a political party saying that if we come to power, they will vaccinate with using their fund. I don't think anything wrong in that particular step.
So but then if you don't come into power, you won't vaccinate? So what is the logic? Logically, does that mean if you do not win, that state will not be vaccinated?
See, I think politics and elections are competitive, Sarah. And in competitive election process, if one party, for an example, in your with the Derek O'Brien, you were talking about the TMC announced it and BJP announced it. In either case, the people are the winners. In any of the party comes into power, people will be vaccinated free. I think we should, at the end of the day, every citizen should be getting a free vaccination.
Will that even happen on the ground? Pawan Khera, he says here, Mr. Nambiar, that the people are the winners because now eventually both parties have announced it. But it was actually Rahul Gandhi of the Congress who first had to announce that he is going to call off his campaigning in this election state. Unfortunately, he is not a key player in Bengal because both other parties went ahead. Eventually, it was the BJP who was the slowest to drag their feet over and say they will no longer have these big rallies.
I think you're mixing two issues. Let's first talk about the vaccination. Let's not mix issues. This is the land of West Bengal where we've heard the slogan, "Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga." नया नारा है मोदी जी का, तुम मुझे वोट दो, मैं तुम्हें जीने की इजाजत दूंगा। मेरी रैली में आओ, मैं तुम्हें कोविड दूंगा, और मैं जीत जाऊंगा तो तुम्हें जीने की इजाजत दूंगा। Is this the kind of politics Mr. Nambiar thinks is competitive? I'm sorry, if this is a competitive politics, hell with this politics. Please, the right to life is not conditional.
Mr. Nambiar, I'll just come back to you.
Don't you interrupt.
Mr. Nambiar, I'll just come back to you.
Don't you dare interrupt now.
Please don't force me to turn down your audio. I will come back to you, Mr. Nambiar. You will get a chance to respond. Go ahead, Mr. Khera.
Right to life is not conditional, Sarah. Just tell this gentleman who has no decency, he keeps interrupting. Right to life is not conditional. Whether your politics is competitive or ruthless or cruel, hell with it. Every single Indian has a right to live. Whether BJP wants it or not, whether BJP thinks it's right or not. आप रैलीज कर रहे हैं बेशर्मों की तरह, वहां आप लोगों को कोविड दे रहे हैं और कह रहे हैं कि हमें वोट दोगे तो हम आपको जीने का हक देंगे। होते कौन है आप?
Kerala elections.
हिम्मत क्या है आपकी?
How about Kerala elections? Rahul Gandhi was diving into the sea along with the fisherman. What was happening? Was he doing something else?
All right, Mr. Nambiar, I'm going to have to go across to our other guests if you keep interrupting Mr. Khera over there.
I won't let Mr.
We've
Nambiar
seen
utter a
politics
single word
even
to
today. Mr. Jasmine joining us from the Aam Aadmi Party, a meeting of the Prime Minister with Chief Ministers, which then unfortunately saw the Prime Minister pull up the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, for, as he puts it, allowing the speech to be publicized, allowing their discussion to be publicized. Was that necessary?
Sarah, there is already a clarification that's been issued by the Delhi government on this issue. Today, what was being discussed was in the context of a national emergency where everybody wanted to know what is it that the leaders of their country are thinking and doing. And it was in that spirit that CM's address only was made live. But if Centre has taken affront to it, we have apologized to it. Now, let's come and focus on the two main issues that were discussed by Honorable CM of Delhi on that important meeting. First was the oxygen crisis that is grappling the nation, and where we have said that still as on today, we do not see a coordination plan, forget about a forward-looking plan. But today, whatever we are planning and allocating to states, those quantities of oxygen are not reaching states. Why? Because some states in between are hoarding trucks and ensuring that they do not cross their borders. We've asked the Centre a very simple question. There is absolutely no question of politics. Tell us, who do we call when our supplies do not reach as per the plan of the Centre? Number two, you raised very important questions on vaccinations.
Fair enough.
Here again, let me make it very clear as to what our point of view. Sarah, give me 30 seconds because vaccination, you raised many points. And I want to clarify what Aam Aadmi Party is thinking on vaccinations is. Please, just allow me 30 seconds.
I want to just talk about the politics right now. I don't want to digress from that, Jasmine. Sorry for this. I want to just give the last 30 seconds to Mr. Nambiar. Mr. Nambiar, why can't the Chief Minister's address be shared with the people of the state, with the people of the country? We deserve more transparency. Quick 30 seconds. And it's not as if the Prime Minister hasn't done this in the past. Look at the Prime Minister's own record.
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't get you, Sarah. Your question is not clear.
Why did the Prime Minister have to take affront to the fact that his discussion with the Chief Minister had to be publicized? Do we not need more transparency at this point of time?
I don't think that every meeting between the Chief Ministers need not to be publicized. That is
why not? Why not? Do the people of this country, do the people of this state not deserve to know what our politicians are discussing about us, about our lives?
There are important discussions.
Especially when the Prime Minister has telecast his own speech live on numerous occasions when he's met with chief ministers? Why are the rules different on different days?
Telecasted. There are programs which can be live telecasted. There are programs which needs to be in a closed door meeting.
You're talking about election rallies, I'm sure, in the time of a pandemic. I'm sorry, this is all the time we have for tonight, and this is an example of why we should really worry, because at a time when we need people, our politicians, to come together, it seems we are all really on our own right now. Thank you for joining us tonight on Reality Check. Bye-bye.